Hey everyone, this is Jennifer, and today I'm going to be making a daily planning routine hack cheat sheet video. I was sitting at my mom's last night with my traveler's notebook, and I realized a few things about my daily planning and how I can sort of make that more functional and easier on my brain. So I'm going to share a little trick with you. What you need to know is that this has really started here in my Erin Condren Life Planner. I have been really into routines lately and just making things as simple as possible for myself and having a streamlined process for planning. It's more the planning versus the decoration. I do love decoration. I'm still going to do that every week. But I have found that I have slipped away from some of those things that used to work for me very well back in like 2014, 2015 when I first started planning. And I want to get back to more of the function of planning in addition to the creativity that it allows me with journaling and stickers and all that. So I had already made this weekly trigger list. I posted this on Instagram, and then I have my monthly planning routine here as well, and it's been working. And when I was out at my mom's just planning my day, I thought, I've done the month and the week, why not do the day? So for the most part right now, I do my daily planning in my traveler's notebook, and these daily pages have really been working out well for me. I think part of the reason that's the case is that this is a custom insert that I designed. Well, sort of. I use Crefective paper for all of my traveler's notebook inserts, and I had this vision of what I needed in a daily. And so I emailed Jade, who is the owner of Crefective paper, told her what I wanted, and she is so fabulous with customs. She really made this perfect insert for me. It's exactly what I had envisioned in my mind. So if you like this custom, I'm sure you could email her. This is in standard size for traveler's notebook, but I'm sure she could probably do other sizes if you just let her know. Discs, rings, TNs, all of those things. However, when I was sitting down, I'm like this is the perfect example. On Tuesday, my 8 a.m. check-in share was here. And then on Wednesday, I put 8 a.m. here, and I thought it would be so much better if everything sort of had the same spot, and to be a little more precise. So like right now, I'm using these graph sections down at the bottom for my energy levels throughout the day. And I know when I open my planner, my brain's like, yes, this is where that's at. I want to be a little more consistent with the other things, like the times, where I put my week numbers, where I put my notes, all of that on this daily insert. And I thought it would be perfect if I just printed out the same insert, made this a cheat sheet, and then I could have it when I'm planning and even set it next to the column here if I needed to, so that like my 10 a.m. is always in the same slot across pages, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be doing that today, is making this cheat sheet. I am going to walk through the process with you here, and then I'll probably end up laminating my final page here. That way it holds up a little bit better. This is a pencil board that I made out of craft paper. That's going to be sort of the same thing. I'll either laminate it and maybe add pretty paper to the back, or I might clip it on my pencil board here. And so these two will always go together, because typically this is what marks my daily page in my notebook. Now I got to thinking about if you could do that for other planners, because really the monthly and the weekly started in my Erin Condren dashboard layout that I'm moving into for July. I do also have this daily duo from Erin Condren, and if you are using a ring bound planner and not a printable insert, or like a printed insert of any type really, you could do the same thing. I thought if I move into the Daily Duo for daily planning, I could do the same thing. I would just photocopy this paper on my copy machine here at home, my printer, and then I would have one sheet and I could do the same thing. So don't feel like if you're using a printed version that you can't do this process, because I think you totally could. All right, let's look at this. I do have my Erin Condren Caddy out that just has some of my markers and extra ink pens in, my Archer and Olive, and my Click Art. I'm going to set those off to the side, and I'm thinking about adding some of the Click Art color to the page to help things stand out a little bit more. Now, if you don't know where to start with your daily cheat sheet, I think probably, if your brain works at all like mine, the first thing to do is just kind of look at several of your daily, weekly, or monthly pages, whatever cheat sheet you're making. Just look back and see what sort of things you always tend to put on your dailies, and then you can kind of expand from there. So I'm gonna leave this open to a page here, and we will jump in. So the first thing I think I want to do is dedicate specific times. I'm really not up before 8 o'clock a.m., especially in the summer. And then the nice thing is this could change. So it's just a cheat sheet. I could do it now and maybe have one for summer, one for fall, one for winter, one for spring as my planning needs change. But definitely right now in the summertime, I don't really plan anything before 8 a.m. So we're gonna make this the 8 a.m. time slot. And then I'm just gonna go through and go all the way down to the bottom. The only other thing would be if I want to block off one of these sections for something other than timed appointments. Let me go ahead and just start with the rest and stop at this bottom one. All right, so in the same vein, I'm not usually up and having a timed appointment before 8 a.m. The same is true in the evening. I do work house stuff at home, but it's not time specific, even if it's after 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna stop there. I might come back to these last two sections and add something specific there. For the top priorities, that's going to be exactly what it's already labeled as top priority, so I don't feel like I need to add anything there. Now, for my tasks, I do also want to, when I'm sit down and filling out my, what I call like a daily log, I also want to reference a few things in my actual planner and get those filled out as I am filling in my daily. So the first one is going to be this health section. I want to update that daily if I have anything that needs updated. And that includes this little insert here, which is my health tracking. So I have this slipped into the pocket and I pull it out when I'm planning. Here, I can show you. So I have my 2025 cycle tracker. This is 2024. It's not just cycle, it's also other health information, but I keep 2024 in here in case I'm at the doctor and I need to reference anything. So this kind of comes out of that pocket, and then I update this health tracker for the day. So I'm going to make a section on my task list here. So I'm gonna write in black ink pen here, check sections, and put a little number 1 over here. And then we'll go through with a Click Art marker and write in the section. So the first one will be the health insert. I'll put this back and then we'll keep going through the sections. Next up will be this monthly overview. I do have some color coding on there for my husband's on-call schedule and my work schedule. So we'll do yearly insert. Next up would be my monthly planning. So I am using this Crefective paper month on one page with like a dashboard down here. And I think that, yeah, that's what I need to reference next. That's the health tracker. Next up, I have my weekly insert, which I kind of want to make a cheat sheet for this too, although in my brain I sort of have a good process down where I put everything for that particular weekly insert. Let's do just do weekly insert. I think this one's going to be really important. This is my getting things done insert from Crefective paper, and there is a book about getting things done that I've read, but that whole process is a separate thing. But I do have a lot of stuff going on here, getting things done. So I do want to check that insert as well. And this particularly will be important for me and my system, because if I have a day where I don't have a lot of scheduled events and I don't already have a lot of to-do items, I can go back through here and look at the projects very quickly that I need to be working on, or if I have extra time, I can do my someday items, and that just helps me keep things off of this list or mark them off as completed a little bit quicker. Next up in here is my daily insert, and that's what we're doing here, so I don't need to put anything there. And I don't want to reference my notes book. I don't think I need to do that. Okay, so now we can go to what I would include on my daily to-do list, kind of like a trigger list. This is just working through my planner and pulling info from those other pages onto the day so I can see what I need to do for the day. This is my daily trigger list. So when I sit down to plan my day, typically the first thing that I would look at is work. Now this is summer break for me and I work in education, but there are things I have to do, like I was just verifying our school calendar with the state and certifying the staff pool, all of that. So I do want to keep work kind of up front on this list. And I'll just put /school because my son goes to school where I work. So a lot of times when my brain is thinking about that, it's kind of in those two areas, my work and his school, and then my husband's work schedule or other appointments. Then we'll do happy place planning stuff and planner Kate. Then we'll do sorority and church and home, maybe cleaning. Now, as I look back over this, like I said, sometimes that helps just to look back and see what is on your daily or weekly lists. All right, I think I'm gonna stop there for now on the trigger list. And then I always use this section down here for my daily energy, but I want to make a little bit of a key for that. I know what they mean, but just in case, I'm going to do that. So, ruler. I always do 2 lines up, 2 lines over. And this W means wake, and then M is in the morning, and then A is afternoon, and E is evening. And I might put S for sleep because sometimes with perimenopause, I can't sleep at night, so that might help too, to keep that on there, how alert I am. And then this is where I wanted to add the code. So I do 2 increments of 2 boxes. And this first one would be low energy. And then obviously this one would be the highest energy. Sort of above what I typically feel, almost like, you know, like I can get anything done sort of day. And then we'll do the next one above low energy will just be, we'll just say average. And then this one above that would be above average. This last line down here, I want to do as the week number. I think that's a good spot to put it. That is how my brain functions. I have to know what week we're in, and opening my daily insert, it's been helping seeing that right there. I would put it up here, but I typically put some sort of date or date schedule up here, or date sticker up here, so I don't want to cover that. So I think down here would be the best spot for that. And I am just going to block it off on my cheat sheet with a little pin line, and we'll do the same thing here for the bottom line. And we'll just put week number. Above that, I've been keeping like a section here for gratitude, and I definitely want to do that. There was something that I did, a waiting on. I might need to incorporate that somehow into here. We'll block off, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 lines. So 4 above this is what I usually use for gratitude. And I might actually start drawing these lines into my planner. You'll notice I didn't do that on my daily pages, like the solid line for the week number and a dash line to break up the gratitude. We'll label this obviously gratitude. And then I did notice I've been having like a waiting on section where I'm waiting for things from someone else that I don't want to forget about, and I kind of have to carry them over from day to day if it doesn't get completed within the day that I originally write it on. And I might do another dash line for that. And I think I'm typically not really waiting on in a day for more than 3 items. And we'll just again label that waiting on. All right, I think that that is a good cheat sheet for me, at least to get started. And again, the nice thing about this is it's just paper. I just printed off a copy of the one I'm using. You could even, again, make a photocopy of a insert that you have that's already printed from a company. And then if you want to change it, you can recopy it and start over, no big deal at all. So I'm gonna take this over to my laminator real quick and I'll run it through and I'll be right back. Okay, that turned out really well. I did get a piece of scrapbook paper and put it on the back. I might add like a red bubble sticker or something to that side, but I think I'll just keep this in the back of my notebook here and then pull it out when I set up my daily. Now on the template, I do have all of the times. I think that really clutters up the pages if I'm doing that every day, and I really prefer like I said, just to have just the times that I need for the day on here. But now when I sit down to plan, let's say today is Monday the 23rd. If I have something at 9 a.m., I'll just line this up real quick and then put just the 9 a.m. here. And then no matter what page I'm on in my daily, 9 o'clock appointments will always be on the same line, if that makes sense. And then I don't have to sit there and count. I mean, I could, and I might get that way without the cheat sheet where I just know automatically that this is 8, this is 9, this is 8 p.m. But it'll probably take my brain a little bit of time to just have the automaticity of knowing where things are at. When I sit down to set up my daily, I'll go through all of my sections and keep those up to date. And then when I'm planning my to-do list, I'll work through my trigger list. And I'll also always set up usually like 2 days in advance. Like I need to fill this graph in and have the template, the X and the Y axis on here. And I'll go ahead and put in my lines for my waiting on a gratitude and week number section as well. So all of that will be done and ready for the next couple of days as well. So you'll have to let me know what you think about making a little template trigger list for your planning. Either, I think they're so helpful for monthly, weekly, and daily. And maybe I need to do like a quarterly one as well. I think it's really going to help keep me on track as I'm working through all of the sections in my life and not forgetting anything. Thank you guys for hanging out today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit more functional versus decorative, but my brain is just, it's needing that right now. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you back next time.